Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Never Split Up podcast. This is episode 17, where we are covering the early 2000s slasher High Tension. How you doing today, Anthony?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
I know you're doing good. We're 1 week out, less than 1 week out, a few days out from Scream 6. So I know you're
Yes,
pumped.
we are a couple days away from me seeing Scream 6, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Don't you want to just
Ah,
hold on to this feeling before the
I
movie
I
is like
do,
you
but I
want to
don't
see the movie,
because
but then it's
ah,
like you miss having the feeling of being
I know
anticipated.
I do, but I don't because I can't wait any
You just
longer for
can't
this
wait.
movie. Damn
Yeah.
it! I just need it. I
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Scream, I want to give a quick shout out to all of our listeners and watchers, and on YouTube, especially our new subscribers. Thank you, everyone, our new subscribers, and even the people that have commented on our last Scream 6 prediction video. It's our most watched episode to date. We have over 1,000 watches on YouTube, and we have a decent amount of listens too. And thanks to everyone who commented. We love hearing from you guys and your theories and your takes on these movies. And again, thanks to all the new subscribers. We're trying to build that up, but we're taking a little break from Scream. We did a couple Scream related episodes, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe we're going to come back to Scream, right, Anthony?
I think you might be right and onto something. But yeah, like I just want to reiterate, I'm so thankful that our two highest performing episodes are Scream related. And again, like it was a beast covering the original 1996 one. I mean, think that episode's like hitting 3 hours. And then it was really fun to have that special predictions episode to, you know, give what we want and what we think might be happening in the new movie. So, if you know me, you know how special that franchise is to me. So it's means a lot that that's our best performing episode. And we have a lot of plans for rankings and all this stuff, but for Scream franchise and other franchises. But let us know what you guys want us to cover for special episodes in the future, so we can continue to have that interaction. And it's going to be fun. And I have a feeling we won't be far off from talking about Scream 7 if the early box office predictions are any indication either. So it's gonna be Scream's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Oh yeah. Right now, Scream is pretty much the talk of the town, and you can see that in these early box office predictions. It looks like it's really gonna do well, possibly even better. What did Scream 5 do opening weekend for its box office?
So Scream 5, I believe, opened over like Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. I think it did 30 million.
Oh yeah, it's
This is
gonna
gonna
break
blow that
that.
away.
Yeah, it's gonna blow that away.
But you also have to remember last year was still had like COVID shit going on and all that. So when it came out in the winter, but Paramount went all out with marketing, and marketing is king. And the early buzz is just gonna
Hmm.
make this thing explode.
Oh yeah.
And none of the controversies, like the Nev thing, is not going to do anything because she's coming back. Like the directors are even talking in interviews saying, "Yeah, we really hope she comes back for 7." So I mean, it's kind
Hmm.
of like, she'll be back at some point. But yeah, I see this thing having a shot at 50 million open weekend. So I think it might.
Yeah.
It's gonna crush. It's gonna crush.
Yeah.
But for now, let's talk about another twisty movie.
Yes, high tension. And speaking of recommendations, this was one of the first recommendations that I personally got when we started this podcast. Shout out to my cousin Jessica. She recommended this movie as soon as she found out that we were doing this podcast. It's one of her favorites. So shout out to her. And I know we both have a few recommendations that we've gotten already, and we want to get more. So give us your recommendations, guys. We love covering movies that you guys care about and want us to talk about. And yeah, well, let's just get into it. Let's get into the cast and the director, obviously Alexandra Aja. Um, I'm a big fan of
Love him.
his. I don't know how you feel about him, but
Uh, He's my guy.
yeah,
He directed one of my favorite movies that I won't reveal, but you know what it is, and we will
yeah,
get to it at a certain point.
yeah,
It's one of my favorites.
awesome. So again, yeah, this initially released in 2003 in France. It's a French film, and it got re-released by Lionsgate. I believe it went to like a festival, and it was
Yeah,
part of a
so
festival.
Toronto International Film Festival in 2003, Lionsgate picked up the rights and they redubbed it in English because, Americans, I guess, can't just fucking watch subtitles. and they redubbed it
Yeah.
and they edited it and cut a little bit out so we can get an R rating, and they
Yeah.
released it in June of 2005 in theaters here. So for us, it was we got the wide public in the U.S. got to see it in 2005.
In 2005. Great.
But
And
Lionsgate picked it up because they're really on the heat. That was their like torture porn phase. Like
mhm.
so, Saw was doing well, Hostel was doing good. So they're like, wanted to pick this up too and like cash in on that. You know,
Yes. This was released before Saw and Hostel, but by the time they picked it up, this
right,
was released in 2005, I think right after
right.
the first Saw.
For us, we saw
So
like
we saw
Saw
it
and
after
Hostel
Saw.
for we
Yeah.
saw Saw first. We saw Saw first,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's in the middle of those two
Yeah.
like giants.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I sorry, I lost my train of thought. Just quickly, we'll talk about the unrated version. Unfortunately, I had the unrated version growing up. We had the DVD, but you mentioned that Lionsgate cut out some stuff and made it rated R and dubbed it,
And
unfortunately.
dubbed it.
But this time around, I couldn't find that DVD. I don't know if someone else in my family has it, but I personally had to watch it on streaming, and the only available version on streaming is the dubbed rated R version. But I have seen the unrated multiple times because we did
Me
own it.
too. Me
So
too.
okay, that's good. But you saw
So,
the streaming version
little
too?
backstory for yeah. Well, that's how I had to watch it this time.
Okay.
Little backstory to my experience when Lionsgate, because they released it like pretty wide in theaters, not like super wide, but like I actually saw this in theaters.
Okay.
Um, when Lion, because I didn't know that it was like a dubbed movie. I just because they advertise it as just like a slasher. Like I didn't even know it was like a foreign movie.
Mm,
So my poor mom, she said she's like MVP. She took she took me to see everything,
yeah.
and we went to see this, and like right when you could tell it's dubbed, I was like, oh, what the fuck. But you get over it, but it's just like what the hell. And then when we get to this scene, when there's a new meaning to Roadhead, my mom was like, "What the fuck did I take you to watch?"
Yeah, I mean
But
that's
kudos to my mom for taking me to these movies. But yeah, I was super bummed when I found out that it was a foreign movie and it wasn't just subtitles. It was like dubbed for a lot of it. You know me, I want to see the movie in its original form, and it drives me crazy when people's mouths don't sync up to what's coming out.
yeah.
It drives me crazy, and I'm not gonna ding the movie for it because obviously I've seen the unrated version. I'm starting to show my age again. I actually think it was like on FearNet. Remember the FearNet
Yeah.
back in the day,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
on
yeah.
demand?
Yeah.
I think they actually had the unrated cut for a
Oh,
bit, so I
really?
was able to go back because I'm not gonna give my opinion on the movie yet, but I was able to go back and rewatch it and see
Yeah.
the unrated and see it in just the subtitled,
Mhm.
original format. But yeah, that theater experience, I was like, what?
So you definitely prefer the subtitled unrated, right?
Yes.
Okay. I agree with
Yes.
you, and I know I do agree with you with dubbed movies. The only thing I will say, there's a couple points that makes the dubbed, I guess, bearable. I'm not going to say it's as good as the original version, but the first being that Cecil de France dubbed her own lines.
The star of the movie.
She plays Marie, the star of the movie, and you could definitely tell her readings of her lines were definitely better than like Alex has an American accent for some reason in her dubbed version. Like that was kind of strange, and the mom and the dad, their dubbed lines are like totally, yeah, not to trash voice actors and the people who dub them, but it's just it's hard to replicate that emotion when you're not in the
Right. It
moment.
takes you out of the
And
experience.
yeah, you can tell that Cecil de France, it's just a different level of dubbing because she was in those moments and she was acting. So, and then secondly, I'll say this isn't a dialogue heavy movie in terms of
That's what I
volume.
was just gonna say.
And I do like this movie's cinematography so well. So I almost like again, um I don't prefer the dub, but when I do watch the dubbed version, it lets me focus not so much on the subtitles as much, and I can just focus on the picture and just listen because there isn't a ton of huge dialogue. I know
Right.
you're shaking your head and you don't agree with me, but I kind of give it a pass for this
No, I
movie
know what
because
you're
this
saying.
movie is beautiful and I do love
I
watching
do
the
think that
cinematography
it's
and focusing on it.
really well shot. Really well shot. I just because it makes me focus. Americans need to just suck it up and just watch subtitled movies because after 5 minutes, it goes away. You don't think that you're reading. It's just part of the movie. But I'm focused more on the mouths now because they don't line up when I
Yeah.
watch the movie.
There's,
So
like, a
it's
couple
just like
scenes in
that. Yeah.
particular where it's, like, really
But like you said,
yeah.
this movie benefits from not having a lot of dialogue, so it's not horrible. You know how
Oh,
some
yeah.
movies when you watch if someone watched a dumb movie, it's like literally like you can't watch.
Oh, yeah.
But this movie's not really dialogue heavy, so
Oh,
it's
yeah. I
not
mean, the
terrible.
entire second act, there really isn't any dialogue at
It's just a
all, except for,
chase.
like, the
Yeah.
gas station, which is at the end of the second act,
Right.
but other than that, I mean, yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's so strange because some moments are like still just in French and subtitles. I'm like just like
Mm.
pick your choice. Like pick your poison. Are we doing subtitles or are we doing dub?
Yeah, yeah, because
But again,
the gas station scene is
I'm
in
not dinging the
French
movie.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not dinging the movie because obviously that's not how he made the movie. It's because
Yeah.
Lionsgate picked up the rights. So
So if you
but
haven't
this
seen
is going to
this
be
movie,
interesting. Yeah.
definitely try to get your hands on the unrated copy. It's kind of hard. You kind of, I think you need the physical copy. I don't think you're gonna
Yeah. I
find it
just ordered
unless
it.
you go to like maybe a pirated website. I'm not condoning that, but
Don't
if
do
you
that.
can
Yeah.
find it somewhere like that, but in terms of streaming, I think you're shit out of luck. Um, but even if you can't get the unrated, still watch the rated R version, the dub version, because it doesn't completely ruin the movie, at least for me. Um, it's still a good movie, and I don't want to give away too much, but I feel like we have some different takes on this movie, possibly. But I want to hear your overall thoughts first because I'm really eager to hear
Okay.
what you think.
Okay, cool. So, like I said earlier, I love Alexander Aja, and this is the movie that put him on the map for horror. This really is the movie that's kickstarted his
Oh
career.
yeah, definitely.
He directed a short before this, I think a short and maybe one other movie, but this is the movie that blew him up. So, okay, this is like an extreme French horror movie. I love, love, love like the first. I love the movie until we get to that fucking twist. The twist doesn't work for me. The
Okay.
twist doesn't work for me at all. The first time I saw it, when I got to the twist, I was so angry, so angry.
Why don't we just
And
sorry to cut you off. Why don't we do our spoiler warning now?
spoiler,
Yeah.
yeah, spoiler.
So you can talk candidly about the twist. So guys, definitely
Yes,
watch
okay,
this movie. I still remember watching this movie for the first time and how I thought about the twist. So I want other people to we kind of already gave it away that there is a twist, but you still won't guess it, I don't think. Like it's still kind of good. So definitely pause
there's
this,
no
go
possible way
watch
to
it.
guess it if you're watching it the first time because
I
there's
think
no
so.
way
Yeah,
you
it's
can
pretty
guess it.
hard. Yeah. I had no idea. But
And I'd
okay,
have
go
to
ahead. Yeah, sorry. Continue.
anyway. Okay, so yeah, the first time I saw this, I was you know how I like my final girls,
Mhm.
and our lead of this movie was fucking awesome
Yeah.
when she killed him in the end, and then a minute later, it's taken away from us because we find out that she's the killer.
Uh-huh.
And it just is so like, I feel like it was literally done just for shock and not to support the story. And it just makes me so angry because I was like, I'm like, yes, she's a badass, she's getting back. And then it was just taken away from me like 5 seconds later. And I watched it again when it came out on FearNet, knowing the twist.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll just accept it for what it is. But every time I get to that ending, even this rewatch when I watched it, twice in the last few days,
Mhm.
I know the ending and I just enjoy it for what it is. But every time I get to that ending and we find the reveal, I get so bummed because I'm like, okay, it's a twist ending and something different, but it's really not different because a lot of movies did that, especially around that time. But I get so bummed because she would be a fucking awesome final girl. She's a badass in this movie when she kills him with the
Yeah.
barbed wire, and then it's just taken away from me. And it's like we'll get into the plot of it, but there's no way if you rewatch this movie, there's no you know how like let's just say you watch Fight Club or The Uninvited or movies with twist endings like that. When you go back, even Scream, when you go back, you can watch the movies through the lens and be like, okay, I see what they did here. I can go in knowing the twist and like
Mhm.
placing the pieces in the movie. This movie, you can't do that because we're shown the killer separate from her before they even arrive at the house. And I know it's
Mm.
because she's recollecting her. It's a recollection of her version of the story of
Yeah.
her other reality. But you can't go back. You cannot guess this movie because we're not. It doesn't make sense like that. It's just literally thrown at us at the end as
Hmm.
a twist, and that's it.
Okay.
You can't rewatch it and go into like, oh, okay, this. No, because he's shown giving himself head before they even arrive at the house, like as a
Hmm.
separate dude. So it's no way. It, it just really bums me out the ending, and it's a cool idea, but I would have rather her just been the final girl and save her friend and fucking kick the shit out of him because that's what she did until she didn't. So it's like, ugh. And I don't know. It's kind of at the end it gets a little tacky when like it goes back to her chasing him, but it goes back to him chasing her, but it's really her. Like I'm just like, ugh. If you're gonna commit to the twist, commit to it. So then I get that's a cool visual that they did, but the ending doesn't work for me for this movie. That's the ending really doesn't work for me,
Okay.
unfortunately.
All right.
Yeah.
Some strong opinions on the
But
ending.
I,
Yeah.
I
Well.
didn't mention I do love the kills. Like we'll get to the plot, but the
Yeah.
kills are fucking gnarly. And this is like I said, this is an extreme. This is a mean movie,
Yeah. Oh
a
yeah.
very mean movie.
Definitely.
And I don't like the dog scene. I don't like the dog scene
I
either.
wasn't even gonna bring up the dog scene.
Yeah,
I was.
I don't like it
Yeah.
how he just fucking flops and like plops on the ground. I'm like, this is fun. No. But yeah, so I love Aja. Really well made movie. It's just they took a swing with the ending, and that swing really didn't work for me. And unfortunately, I leave with the ending,
Mm.
so it always leaves a bad taste in
Yeah.
my mouth. The
Okay.
ending. Yeah.
Great. Well, my overall thoughts is I absolutely love this movie, and I could not disagree with you more about the ending. So this is going to be really
Okay.
fun. The ending, I mentioned it before. I remember the first time watching this movie and seeing that ending. I was shooketh. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it. It came out when we were probably like what 12, 13 years old in America. I definitely saw it when I was a teenager, maybe even like a young adult. I don't really remember. Maybe 18, 19 years old. Again, we had it on
Okay.
DVD,
Oh
so
wow.
I watched it at home, like on our DVD, the unrated version first. But I remember seeing this movie for the first time and just being shook, and it stuck with me. And I was like, how is that? Wait, what? How does that make sense? And then I didn't
It
realize
doesn't.
the first time I watched it that she was telling a story, and that it was a I thought it was all playing in real time. So then when I watched it a second time, I realized like this is her telling of the events. So everything that didn't make sense made sense to me. And I'm gonna disagree with you. There are I think quite a few scenes throughout the movie that really play with you when you watch it again, and show you that she is the killer. There are little hints and little tricks that they do.
Well, they do that
There's
little
no way that
flashback
you can
thingy.
guess it. I'm not trying to say that they put in like little breadcrumbs for you to guess it, because it is totally out of left field at the but when you watch it back again, I'm going to disagree with you. I think there are some moments that we'll get into that you kind of are like, oh, that makes sense. At least that I picked up on. I don't, so the ending works for me because you know me, I love my villains, and to get a final girl mixed
She's not
with
a
the
final girl.
villain. She's a final girl. She is until she's not. I mean, even when you watch this movie again, like you can still watch it and root for her knowing the ending because it's played so straightforward until it's not. So I like that. Like she's a badass final girl and she's also the villain. It's like my perfect blend almost.
But
I
she's not
love
a
bad
final
guys.
girl.
I don't know what to say, dude. And
She's not. She's.
I know you I would say there's more people than not that don't like this ending. This is a very divisive
I think
movie.
it's just divisive. I wouldn't. I think it might be split. Honestly,
It
like it either works for
at
you or
best
doesn't.
split. I would say at
Yeah.
best split, but I would say maybe more people don't like this movie than do like this movie. At least the research that I've done leading up to this episode. But I personally, I mean, it works for me, man. It makes it stand out for me, um, and it doesn't take away the badassness of Marie. I know it does for you because it kind of just negates everything she did because it's unreliable and it's not an actual story that happened. But I mean, it's a movie. It's not a documentary, so I can still
No, I
appreciate
know, but
those moments and knowing that
right.
she's the killer. I can kind of separate the two. So
Even though she's not doing any of it.
yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's a movie, so they're not ever actually
I
doing it.
know,
So
and
it's
I get what you're saying,
yeah,
but for every and I like you said that I know moment you're talking about where you say you could, but for like you could see that she could be the killer, but for every moment that's like
yeah.
that, there's like 10 more that negate that.
And I actually like that because it's fun to go through the movie and question like, oh, is she making this part up? Or like there's certain parts where you know she's making up because it doesn't make sense. Like when she's in the back seat of the truck and she's driving it, like obviously that's not happening the way she's telling it. But there are also certain moments it's like, is the truck real? Does the truck exist? Or is the whole truck, you know what I mean? Like certain things like that I like to think about in my brain, and I usually have different takes on it every time I watch it. And I like to kind of pick and choose what I think is real and what I think she's embellishing and what I think is totally false. I kind of like that game that they play with you. I guess it kind of bothers you a little bit more.
It just I'm trying to think of, and I do like this movie until the ending.
Okay.
That's what bothers me the most. But I think maybe if we saw it from the friends, her love, the love interest. What's her name again? It's Alex.
Alex. Yeah,
Maybe if
Alex.
we had her recollect. First of all, I don't like when movies start at the end because we knew that she was going to survive our lead
Yeah.
in the beginning. Well, then, but actually, we don't because she wakes up in the car and said, "Oh, I had a really bad dream that I was chasing myself."
Hmm.
So they kind of play with you with that too.
Yeah.
But I just maybe wish that we got the account of the events at the end, maybe from like the Alex's perspective, so we could see. But then,
Okay. Because it
no
does do
matter
like
what,
a
we
quick
still
flashback of her killing the family
yeah, which
members.
doesn't
But
work. Yeah,
so you want maybe
exactly.
like a longer
That's not enough.
sequence going back through the movie of what really
They only did
happens?
that because they wanted to like really show the people who were like who aren't like really like we know she's a killer, but they want to show the people her killing. They just wanted to go back and show her killing. That's why they did that.
Yeah.
But like it just doesn't make sense to me how like he's there before they arrive. Like I know she's saying that because she's telling a story, but like stuff like that, you can never guess the movie because of that.
Uh
Like he's
huh.
already outside giving himself head before they're still driving to the parents' house.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like
Well, again, this is all in her head.
I
So
know, but
that tells me that she's
that's their
already
okay.
thinking, and that head is Alex. I don't know if you picked up on that. That severed head, that's Alex. And that's her
Because
severed
that's what
head.
she
So
wants.
yeah, so this is all in her head. So that tells me that while they're driving to the house, she's already fantasizing like this weird fantasy of getting head from Alex and her decapitated head. I mean, that proves to me that she's already like she doesn't just snap midway through. Like this is kind of from the beginning. She's delusional. That's how I took it.
Well, she would have to because no one did anything to her to make her snap.
Oh well. Let's get into it. Let's start from the beginning. Those are our overall
Well, I
thoughts.
mean,
Yeah.
besides the girl played the prank on her when she got into the fucking cornfield and all that
Oh
shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, nothing
But
like
I
that.
just,
Yeah.
it's just, I get, I think it just like you said, people just have one opinion or the other of how this movie plays out.
Yeah, no, I totally get your point of view, and I know you're like a final girl dude, so you really wanted her to
Yeah,
be like
and
that
but I'm
badass
also a
final
twist
girl.
dude. I love twists. It's
Mhm.
just if you're gonna do a twist like that, you need to make it not just be a twist for twist's sake. In my opinion, it
Okay,
was done just to be a twist, just to have a twist in the movie like that.
okay,
And I
that's
give the audience
interesting
a
because
shock. Because I mean, the first time I saw it, it was a shock. Like you
yeah,
know, what I mean, I
there.
was
Oh, yeah,
shocked.
I mean, obviously, there are movies that I've seen in the horror genre that I feel the same way that you do. Like they just threw that twist in. It doesn't really make sense, but I don't feel that way with this movie. So I feel
Okay,
differently.
interesting.
Yeah,
I think Craven feels the same way because he's making some noise.
yeah. Good old Craven.
Okay, so let's. All right, I'm gonna let
Let's dive in.
you
Yeah.
take. We'll get talk to it together, but you are very passionate about this, so I don't want to take that away from
Uh
you. So
huh.
you can give the plot breakdown, and we'll vibe off each other.
Okay, great. And just another like overall thought of the movie just before we go like, do like a deep dive. I love the way this movie is set up. This movie is called High Tension, and I think that's the perfect title because you get the build up in act 1. There's enough backstory to the characters, especially with Alex and Marie, but it's not too much. It doesn't feel like it drags. And then
Oh, it gets into it. It gets into it,
once it gets into it and once we get into that second act, dude, it just builds and builds and
and I
builds
love
and the
that.
tension
Love it.
does not break. It does not break until pretty much the when he leaves the gas station. That's the first real break where you can take a breath and you're like, all right, she's safe for now when she calls the cops. But up until then, dude, you're like holding your breath for Marie the whole time. And I
Yeah.
love
Do you
that.
know
It's
what's
so
weird?
cool.
I forgot to mention this. I when I used to like not be a boring adult and had time in life, I used to read a little bit, and I don't know if you know Dean Koontz. He's like a horror writer, but his book, Intensity,
Hmm.
I read that book a long time ago, and it literally like mirrors the
Yeah,
first like 40 minutes of this movie.
I know.
But besides the kills are different. But I'm like, wait, is this like an adaptation? But it's not.
It's
But
not.
Aja did say he had read the book, and he like obviously there's some
It's
familiarities,
not, and
but it's not an
that
adaptation.
is a
It's
criticism.
not.
People have said that they've ripped from the book, but the author has never
Okay.
come out and tried to like sue them or anything.
He
So,
said
I mean, so we're just
he
gonna.
said he didn't sue because he didn't want to because the movie because it's an extreme violent movie. He's like I didn't want to even bother with that because some people like don't want to think that violence is like trash in movies. So I didn't want to bother, but
Yeah,
I don't even I don't get that criticism because like I mean a lot of movies are similar, a lot of books are similar. It just happens. But
art imitates
the first
art.
time I did
Yeah,
watch this, I was like, "Whoa, is this an adaptation of
huh.
Intensity?"
That's interesting that
I
you read
did,
that book. I
I
had
did,
never
yeah,
read the
I
book.
did,
I have
yeah, I
heard
did.
that
It's a good book. I
it's
have it.
very close.
I have
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
but I just want to make sure I threw that in because I do know that's a common thing said about this as well.
Mm.
So let's
Okay,
get into
cool.
this plot.
Yeah, let's get into it. So it starts with we have it's Marie. It shows the back of her head, but she's in a hospital. She is like beat up.
So
She's
it's
got
just shaved head,
stitches
right?
on her back. She's got a
Slashes on her
shave,
back. Yeah.
yeah, shaved head, and she's saying the line, "I won't let anyone come between us anymore. I won't let anyone come between us anymore." And it's like pretty creepy, and you're like, "Oh man, this girl is traumatized. Like, what the hell happened to this girl?" So then it cuts, and we go to the scene of her in the woods you were talking about before. It's the dream sequence. She's chasing after herself, she says, and then she slams on this guy's window. She finds a car. It kind of reminds me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre for sure, where she just darts into the road and tries to get
Did you
help.
name drop her? Sorry, did you name drop her? Because
Cecil
I will say
DeFrance.
she is fantastic. She is
Oh, she
fantastic.
she carries the movie for sure. I mean, she's the focal point
Yes.
of the whole movie. Yeah, she's awesome, awesome.
She would have been an awesome final girl. All right, anyway, keep going.
I
Keep
okay, yeah,
going.
we'll keep going. Yeah. So and then she okay, yeah, so that's the dream sequence. She wakes up in the car. Um it's Alex's car, her best friend Alex. They're on their way to Alex's family's farmhouse. I guess it's supposed to take place in the south
Yeah,
of
it's like southern
France.
France. Yeah,
I know
southern
they
France or
filmed
something like
in
that.
I think Romania, which is pretty cool. They found a
Okay.
part of Romania that kind of imitates
Very
France.
cool, like horror movie vibes, open fields, long
I was gonna say
road.
I love the
Yeah.
setting to this movie, like the cornfields and stuff. That's a really cool
Yes.
setting. Um, but yeah, they're on their way. They have a quick little discussion. They're talking about boys, which is a theme. That's pretty much the only thing they talk about in this movie. Like the first act, they mention that they're like there to study, but the
Right.
focus of the most of their conversations in this car and then later in this kitchen is Alex's dating life and the
But
boys.
you know that Marie is like like she's giving hardcore jealous
Oh
vibes
yeah,
even in the car.
definitely.
Like why the fuck are you talking about that guy?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I want to say the that opening sequence with the dream sequence, I kind of like it. I usually don't like sequences that are extended like that where it has like where it's showing the opening credits and it keeps flashing back and forth, but I love that whole vibe, like that early 2000s industrial score
Yeah.
with the
I like the
lights and
flash with
stuff
the
and the
credits, yeah.
font and like the classic font. It just puts me right back into like
Yeah.
early 2000s. It's so cool. Yeah.
Do you like that they opened the movie showing her in the hospital? Or do you are you annoyed that you knew that she was gonna be in the hospital by the end of the movie?
Uh, No, because I never thought that she was gonna die. I never really got that sense. Like I knew she was gonna be you kind of get it pretty quickly that she's gonna be the final girl. I mean, obviously the twist at the end, but she still
Right.
is kind of the
Okay, so
final girl until
okay,
she's
so
not.
you
So
okay,
I
okay.
guess I don't mind it too much. I see what you're saying though. It kind of gives her plot armor because we now know that this is a flashback and she survives. Is that what you're saying?
I was
Like it
just
kind
curious
of
how
makes
yeah,
her
yeah.
safe.
I some a lot of movies do this and I most of the time movies do it, it doesn't work for me. There's
Okay.
some here and there that do.
Yeah.
I just wish I mean, I just think that because they did it because they have to put it in our head by the end of the movie that she's telling a story because that's the only way this movie makes sense. That's why they did it.
Yeah.
She's giving her alternate reality of a story. So
They
that's the
could have
only
revealed
reason.
that at the end, but I don't mind that they put that in the beginning
Okay.
because they
All
don't
right.
show it again. So like they don't go back to it at the end of the movie where she's
They just show her back and
on
she's doing that
camera.
creepy
She's
thing again. Yeah.
yeah. So they make the audience have to remember the very first scene in the movie, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she was talking to a camera." I kind of like that, I guess. Yeah,
Okay,
it works
okay.
for me. I really only have like one or two nitpicks of this movie, but other than that, I really do like this movie. But yeah, we get the scene you were talking about, that you and your mom had to endure, the oral sex with the decapitated head scene. This is our first
Fucking
glimpse
nasty.
at our bad guy, our big baddie, who is played by what's his name?
But is he
Philip
the big baddie?
Nahan. Give him a shout out.
Okay,
He apparently in his career has played a lot of bad guys, I guess in France and stuff. And apparently he didn't
that
want to
makes
play another
sense.
bad guy. And he's like, please don't make me play another bad guy. But he read the script to this movie and he gave in. He's like, all right, I'll play another bad guy. But he's
And
apparently a
that scene is
pretty
when
good
you
character
know it's
actor.
like an extreme horror because
Oh
that's
yeah.
like the filthy, dirty, grimy horror.
What do
And
you
that
think
scene is just like,
of,
whoa.
since this is our introduction into this character? I don't think he has a name, but that's obviously intentional. What do you think of his overall design and the way the actor plays him? I think it works for me knowing the twist. I think it's like a perfect, undescriptive, just baddie. Like,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
okay,
I
I
think
think
he's
he's
good. I like how
yeah,
he walks, and
yeah. He's
um,
just like
it.
normal
Okay.
enough, if that makes sense. He's not like super out there. It kind of works for the
I think
story.
his outfit works to match like the outfit's not too much. It's like a good like jumps, work car
Garage
jumpsuit,
mechanic
whatever.
suit,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I like it. I think it's like creepy enough with the hat kind of hiding his face sometimes.
Hmm. Just
Yeah,
dirty,
good.
older
Dirty,
guy.
like dirty, nasty dude,
Yeah.
like a truck, like the truck driver from Joyride. I always get reminded of.
Yeah. Well, speaking of trucks, he's got the that classic truck. I always think of Jeepers Creepers when I see that
That's what
truck.
I was just gonna
It's like
say.
the same
Jeepers Creepers
style.
truck.
Yeah.
It is exactly the same style.
Yeah, so that's cool. But I just want to say his design, I wanted to ask you that because his design is based on a real French serial killer. His name is
Oh, cool.
Emile Louis or Emile Lewis. If you look him up, you'll be like, wow, that does kind of look like the guy from the movie. They based it on this real life serial killer, so that's a cool little, you know,
That's cool.
factoid.
I like
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, we'll get back to our duo. Um they go down this dirt road and this is the cornfield scene you were talking about, right?
Yeah, when she plays
They
a prank on her.
yeah, Alex play Marie's driving at this point. It's nighttime and Alex plays the prank. We'll just go through this real quickly. Only because I want to highlight she's going through the cornfield. Alex leaves because she thinks she heard something. So Marie follows her. Marie starts to get lost in the cornfield. And she says a line that again, props to the actress Cecile de France. Her delivery of these lines is awesome because when you watch it again, like it hits you a little bit different. At least it hit me differently. She goes, "Alex, where are you? I'll get you for this, damn it!" And you could kind of hear some like,
She said it like 5 times in a row.
yeah. But the
I'll
last
get
time
you
she
for
said it,
this.
it's like pretty sinister. You're like, oh, okay. Now that you know the twist, you're kind of like thinking, oh, okay, like what does that mean? I'll get you for this. Like, is she already like getting a little angry at her friend? But other than
But
that,
she
that's
loves her. She loves
I
her.
know she's obsessed with her. Yeah. Um, we get to the house. It was just a prank, obviously. They get back in the car. The guy doesn't show up. I know there was an original like deleted scene where Marie sees the truck in the distance during this scene, but they ended up scrapping that. So nothing of note really happens except for that one line. They get to the house and you find the dad greets them with the dog, and I think the little
Mm,
boy's name is Tom or Tommy. I think it's
yeah,
Tom.
Tom.
And
Yeah.
they seem like a nice, wholesome, family. I was about to say all American family, but this is French. But it's a little confusing with the American accent for the dubbed version. But and we get the scene. I was talking about this before. How most of their dialogue revolves around boys. Um, she starts talking about Alex starts talking about her love life and how she's seeing this guy who has a girlfriend. And I think she says like I don't trust guys that are single. It's like, oh, okay, that's a little bit of a catch 22. But
But doesn't the dad say that like he's happy to put like a name to Marie's face finally because like Alex talks about her all the time and he's like happy to finally put a name
yeah, because
like a face to the name.
they have a picture
Yeah,
on the
I've heard. Yeah,
mantelpiece or on the fireplace that has Marie in it. It's Alex and Marie. So he, I
right.
guess, had never met Marie before, and he just saw the picture. So he's like, "Oh yeah, it's
Well, we
nice
don't
to."
obviously know what's real. Like what? Like
True.
she could be
We
saying
do
that
see the
because she
picture though
wants. Yeah.
in the fireplace.
Well, we
You don't
do,
know.
but we don't. Everything we see is from her
Yeah.
perspective.
Hmm.
But I just thought that might be a little. I mean, if I'm trying to give the movie credit with the
Okay.
twist, she wants to. She is making herself feel like Alex is it like giving her the infatuation back to her in that scene where it's like, oh, she planted that. Like, oh, she does talk about me to her family. She does do
Hmm.
this. So that's a kind of like a little hint of like she wants her to believe that she's reciprocating that romantic love that she
Okay.
always talks that she wants.
That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't
If
pick.
I'm
I
if I'm
Yeah.
digging, if I'm
Yeah.
digging,
Yeah.
I like this movie till the
Yeah.
ending, guys.
Yeah. But well, what did you think about this scene with the boys? I mean, because you said she's clearly jealous, right? I mean,
Even
she's
I even got the
totally.
vibe hardcore in the car when she gave her that look. But
Hmm.
no, I get this too. It's just like she's just really not saying much during this scene. She's just like observing, but like she doesn't look happy at all about this
Well, she
conversation.
doesn't look happy, and
Marie.
then Alex puts it back on her, and she says, when are you going to settle down with a boy?" And she gets very
Right.
defensive. She's like, "I'm not a fucking slut like you are," or something like that. She says something like,
Yeah, I was like,
I'm not a slut."
oh
I'm like, "What? What does that mean? Like, just because you get a boyfriend makes
yeah.
you a slut? Like, that's a little weird."
Stop judging, girl.
Yeah, yeah. So she wants to have a smoke. I almost said Cecil. Marie wants to have a smoke, and Alex is going to bed. So they part ways, and
We have to make sure you say that Marie's like at the top, like her bedroom station, like at the
mhm.
top of the steps. Like she's like her guest room. So she's supposed
Yeah,
to be far
there's
away from hearing
multiple
things. Yeah.
floors to this farmhouse. There's
Right.
the first floor, and then there's the bedrooms on the second floor, and then she is in the attic. It's like a third floor. So Marie is like completely separate from the family all the way up the top. Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Right.
But this is where she goes out for a smoke, right? And she sits on the swing and she observes Alex taking a
Showering.
shower and being a little peeping Tom. And then I thought this scene was
Literally.
clever.
Literally.
Yeah. I thought this scene was clever because then it cuts, it's a zoom in on Alex showering, like from Marie's point of view. And then it cuts back to Marie, but she's no longer on the swing. So I
Right.
have two different interpretations of when things kind of, because for me, I've seen this movie a lot. I think most of what's happened so far is her telling the truth. I don't think really. I mean, you said the little thing about like her dad mentioning her and stuff. Like that's a little thing, but I think this is where it breaks. Well, obviously, because this is where the bad guy happens. But I'm either thinking it's when she starts masturbating or when she
That's what
leaves
I
the
was just gonna
swing
say.
because they
Because
deliberately show the
after
swing
she
empty.
right.
So I think maybe that's where she goes and grabs the truck or something, and maybe the masturbation scene isn't real. But I also
Is there
believe
even a
that,
truck? Is there even that truck? Like it's
wow,
just all
if you
uh,
want to believe there's a truck, you would assume
I
that's when
don't
she
bel
gets it. Yeah, exactly.
uh,
I think this is fun. You don't like this?
no,
Do you think it's like too easy? Like like it's a cop
it's
out?
not too easy. It's too cheap. That, exactly. It yes. I
Okay.
think there's a lot of cop outs. That's my issue
Okay.
because
Well,
when you go,
it's
like I said, when you go back, I can't put the pieces together because
yeah.
their cop out is she's telling her own story, and
It's an unreliable
it would be
narrator. I mean,
so brilliant. It would be
yeah.
so brilliant if there's this could have been brilliant, man. This ending. I know you think it is, but I
Yeah,
think that
yeah.
after she saw her in the shower, that's what led her obviously to go masturbate. Obviously,
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I do think that. Yeah, yeah,
Well, because a lot of people think that the masturbation scene is when she has her break from reality. When she climaxes is when the guy pulls up to the house. So that's the
right. Well,
break.
literally.
But I'm thinking that it's actually before that when she's no longer on the swing. That's when she starts setting up everything and maybe grabbing the truck or
So, what
whatever
do you think
vehicle.
set her into that? Like, she sees her, or like the talk about the boys. Like, what is making her snap and
I
kill
think
this
it's a
entire poor
buildup.
family?
Again, going back to the decapitated head scene with the guy getting head on the side of the road. Obviously, that didn't happen, but I think it's in her mind. I think this has been building for a long time before the movie, and
Like
then I
her love
guess
of her, or her
maybe
hate? Like, but
her
what?
love for her, infatuation. She doesn't want anyone else to have Alex but her, and then seeing her in the shower naked maybe triggered her. or maybe
Sure.
she planned this the whole time. I would say no because um
I would hope not. Even that would make it even
yeah,
more.
because
Yeah,
she's
that would.
pretty
Yeah,
delusional. So I mean,
because
I
they're
don't want to
trying
give
to
her that
show
much
us that
credit.
she's obviously mentally like she's not. She's split
Oh,
personality. They're trying to. That's what they're
yeah,
saying at the end. Yeah.
yeah.
So I just wish there was a bigger event also to kick that off, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. You don't like the little tiny hints and little events, I guess. You
Even the
want
hit, but
like
like that's what's gonna make you split. Like there, because nothing really like hardcore. Like Alex didn't do anything hardcore. The family didn't do anything hardcore. If anything, I would have liked if it was like a friends, like them and like dudes, like hang like a friend group, and maybe she snapped because of all the men like rubbing up on Alex and stuff, like
mm,
something like that.
maybe it
Like
was
what did her
just a
family
moment of
do?
opportunity. Maybe because they were
Well, that's the only way she
alone.
could, because maybe she wanted to get her eventually, literally to herself in that
Yeah.
middle of nowhere area. She wanted to maybe obviously keep her hostage for herself forever.
Hmm.
I mean, we'll get to the plot of the movie, but yeah, poor family.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, she goes back to her room. This is where she starts to masturbate. She's got headphones in, and this is when we get the bad guy rolling up in the truck,
Knock at the door. Yeah,
knocking at the door. The dad and the wife both wake up, but the dad goes and answers the door. He
right.
opens like this little window in the door, and this is where we get our first kill. He
Sequence.
takes out a I guess like a straight razor, right? Like a razor blade,
Yeah,
and
he has that
stabs
like
him through the door. You don't really see it um when Marie is upstairs and she hears everything going on. She can look down through her window. She sees the guy on the
right,
porch, but she can't see the killing. And I
right.
love this shot. The guy gets stabbed and you see him kind of fall back and go to the ground and he makes a loud noise. And then it cuts to Marie upstairs and she's kind of paralyzed in fear. And it goes from her and the camera does like this quick um it goes down the stairs and it zooms into the bad guy. It goes from Marie to the bad guy. You know what shot I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I love that
yeah.
shot. That's one of my favorite shots
And
of
the
the
poor
movie.
dog bark, and then we just see them fucking flop on the ground.
Bloody.
Like this. Oh
Yeah,
no,
the dog's dead.
horrible.
Yeah.
I hate those cliches in horror movies, people.
Yeah, at least they didn't really show it, I guess. I don't know.
No, they just show the fucking plop. It's-
Yeah.
but the next scene, this next shot is my favorite. Fucking awesome. This next
Yeah, so
part.
he takes the guy and he curb stomps him against the staircase, like on the side of the staircase, like on his throat. Well, it's not a curb stomp with his mouth, it's on his throat.
Right.
So he can't like breathe and speak. And then he takes the dresser. He's popping out from the banister,
Between the posts. Yeah,
yeah,
like, yeah.
between the posts, and he takes the dresser. And there's some serious strength to do this, but pushes the dresser and like pretty much decapitates the guy. I don't know if his head comes clean off or not,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it does. No, it
yeah,
does.
yeah, because then in the unrated, you see the blood squirting from the
Yeah,
neck.
guys, try to watch the unrated because you see a lot more blood in this scene. Still
Yeah,
cool regardless.
still cool. You
Cool
still get to
sequence.
see the head decapitate, but you
Right,
don't get the blood like you do in the unrated.
right,
Yeah.
right. Pretty graphic stuff. Pretty awesome. Awesome kill.
You like that kill? Okay.
I love that kill. What do
Okay.
you mean? It's
Yeah.
best kill in the movie, I think.
You think that's the
Well,
best
until
kill in the
one, but
movie?
it's not. It might. Well,
It's tough.
there's one
They're
I
all
really
kind of
like, but it's not
memorable, except
real.
for Tom.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Tom's off
because they're,
screen,
you
so
know, he's a kid,
it's
yeah.
just a
But
gun.
I
Yeah.
do actually like Tom's because the buildup of walking into the cornfield, like, and you just hear the shot. I
Mhm.
think that's more
It's
effective than if we
effective.
actually saw him
Yeah.
get, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But yeah,
Yeah. So then
awesome
we get to
death.
the mom, and the mom,
She's like, "Stay in bed, honey. It's okay."
yeah. I don't know if it's. I don't want to rail on the actress, but she doesn't seem that freaked out. I mean, how did she not hear what was going on? I mean, especially because we know.
But dude, you can do this all day, and we can go. We don't know how she really reacted right away because we don't know.
Well, we did. Well, okay. Well,
I
for
know we know we
argument's sake,
flashback at the end.
let's
Yeah.
review this kind of straightforward until the
Okay.
twist,
Okay.
because
Okay.
it's meant to be taken straightforward until it's not. If that makes sense. So,
That makes sense to me.
I mean, the little subtleties
I know.
like
I mean,
we
it's
can
not
talk
the
about.
best performance, but she's fine.
She's fine, but well, then she goes down the stairs and she sees the killer. We know it's Marie, but we're just called the big bad guy, and he's like wiping the blade, and she just like stands there, doesn't scream, call out for help. She just kind of is like
Well, that's my other question.
incapacitated.
I know we're looking at it straightforward, but like,
Yeah, no, we
do you
could
think
still.
that like by this point someone would like yell like Marie, like no one's yelling her like you're watching this woman who is your daughter's friend, like no one's yelling Marie. I know you can't because there's a twist, but like they don't even scream. Like her look, like you said, her shocked look should be like even more shocked because it's this person they know doing it.
Mm.
And that's why I think they don't do that on purpose because they don't want us to know the twist. So it's just like
Well,
you
we'll
gotta
get
keep
there's
going
in
all
the
loop,
next scene,
loop.
you kind of get a little bit of that we'll talk about.
You do a
But
tiny bit.
yeah, the mom kind of gets, I guess you don't see it, but she gets handled. You hear muffled screams and stuff. Like
Yeah,
there's a struggle because it cuts back to Marie, and this is like an awesome sequence. And when I say this
in the
movie's
closet. Yeah,
title is high tension for a reason, talk about high tension. What do you think about this scene? Because Marie is pretty fucking smart in this scene. And again, we're gonna talk about this straightforward because that's what we
yeah.
see. I mean, I when I first watched this, I was like, "Oh fuck, I wouldn't have thought of that." Like she wipes the sink clean. She went to go for the phone, but once she hears that the guy is coming upstairs, she makes the room look like it hasn't been touched and nobody's been sleeping in
Right,
it. So she makes the bed, she wipes the
right.
sink dry, and you think she goes into the shower, but she ends up going under the bed. And I love this sequence though because it's so intense. And like
No,
even
I do too.
watching it again, like it's still intense because I still put myself in the moment. I know it's hard for you to
Yeah.
break the
No, no,
ending off,
I
but
love this movie, and
yeah,
then because it's she's like you said, she's a fucking she's doing everything a final girl should do.
yeah. I know you really wish that she was like a true final
I
girl.
because
Yeah,
dude, she's so fucking badass, man.
she is, but yeah. I let's not because I
Yeah.
do have a lot more to say on the ending,
Okay.
but we'll wait
All
till
right,
we
so let's
get
get to
there.
the mom's
Let's
death because
yeah,
this is
let's
a
get yeah. I
cool
was
classic throat slit. But the throat slit's awesome, I think, because
uh-huh.
it like extend like her neck goes like separates almost.
Before this, though, he does take Alex. We show the quick scene. Alex is completely
Oh yeah, yeah,
unbothered by
yeah.
all this. She has the cotton swabs in, and she's still sleeping. And he runs the blade
Do, do,
over
do, do,
her
do.
cheek, and
Yeah,
she wakes up, and he does like the, I guess, a way
yeah.
again for the writers for her not to like say her name, Marie's name. They have him go, and then he takes Alex. So you hear her in the background. You know she's not dead. She's like I don't know if she's being raped or you're not quite sure, but she gets chained up eventually. And this is
I was gonna say
when,
she's getting chained up. Yeah,
yeah, this is when Marie decides to leave her room. And I remember like yelling at it, like, stay in your room, fuck Alex. I remember saying that to myself, like, fuck your friend, stay in the
I'd be
room.
like, go
Like,
out the fucking window.
he already checked the room, so you're safe. Like, he's not going to come in that room again, you know? But she's
Right.
the hero, right? I mean, she's the hero in this story and her story. So she's got to save her friend. And this is where she goes into the bedroom to look for the phone, right? And we get the mom, the
Yes.
throat slit. I love this
Stumbling
scene.
in. Yeah.
This scene's
Me too.
awesome. She kind of crawls towards the phone, gets the phone, can't quite make the phone call. And then the guy just kind of stands her up and just, you see this because we're in Marie's POV. She's in the closet and it's one of those like
She's watching
closets from
horrified.
Halloween,
Yeah.
like the classic where it's
Right.
like I don't know if it's
Yeah.
shutters or like little
Yeah.
slits so she can see out, but they can't see in. And she gets a front row seat to the mom getting her throat slit. And it's
She
great
does.
because then my favorite part of this kill is actually the sound effects when he's like you don't see it on screen, but he's like slicing her up and then the blood starts squirting
Yeah.
onto the closet. Like some of the
No.
effects are
Awesome
like,
blood.
oh
Awesome
god,
effects. Awesome.
what's going on here? Yeah. Yeah, I like the throat slit effect too, how it kind of just like
I do
opens with
too. I
like a
love
big
it.
gap. Yeah.
So gnarly that scene.
Yeah. So you love all the kills. The kills are awesome for you.
Yeah, I told you I love this movie until I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, but it sounds like because you don't like the ending, you have problems with the rest of the movie.
Well, like I said, dude, the way I leave the movie is the ending, so that's how I'm
Yeah.
left with that thought as the movie ends every
Okay.
time. And when I go back and I try to give the movie the benefit of the doubt, and I try to watch it from the perspective of like, okay, this is how it's going to end, it bothers me even more than just pretending that it's the straightforward movie until it's not. So I can love this movie until I don't every time.
Okay.
So that's how I've accepted this movie overall.
Okay.
I love it until I don't
But
like
you
it.
can separate the ending enough to where when you watch it again, you do still
Well, no,
appreciate
I
these
do. That's what I'm
moments.
saying. I
Yeah,
force
okay.
myself to because I can't watch it knowing the twist because it ruins the movie for me.
Yeah.
Watching
That's
it
really a shame. I
going
was
into
really
that
hoping that
perspective.
you,
Yeah,
would have liked the movie like I do, like the
I
ending of the
do.
movie.
I do like the movie.
No, I
Yeah,
mean
I
the
know the
ending,
ending.
yeah.
Yeah,
That is a
cool.
shame.
I
I was holding
almost
out
like.
hope.
I wonder. I didn't do research, but I want to know if they came up with the ending before they wrote the movie, or like I wonder know when they came up with the ending because I almost feel like it could have been like a last minute. Ooh, that would be a shocking thing. I want to know when they how they put this movie
Yeah.
together, like when they were writing it. You know what I'm
Well,
trying to say?
it's funny you say
Like, was
that.
it always
I know what
supposed
you're
to be a
saying.
twist, or was it supposed to be straightforward, and then they
Yeah.
changed it to be a twist?
I know what you're saying, and it's funny you say that because the very next scene I think is an example of they knew the ending the whole time. Because this is when Marie finds Alex. First, Tom gets chased out of the house. He's like saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," like poor kid. He gets chased out of
I
the
love that
house,
because it
and
makes it a
then the
little more
guy
heart
follows
wrenching.
him. So
Yeah,
we know the guy's outside. So this is when Marie finds the courage to leave the room, and she finds Alex. And I think this scene is real because Alex is inconsolable, and Marie is trying to be like, "Alex, calm down. Like, if he would have killed you, like
no,
he would
this
have
is the
done it
scene
by
that's real in
now."
the movie.
What's that?
This is definitely the scene that's real because she can't talk, so that's their
Yeah.
excuse for her not to say because she has the
That's her
gag.
excuse, but she's not calming down, she's doing the opposite, and it makes sense that
Right,
Marie is the killer because she's freaking out in front of her, and you're the
right,
first time you're watching, you're
100%.
like, "Dude, Alex, get it together," but now that you know what's going on, like,
Yeah,
you totally get why Alex is not calming down. She's, like, looking, like, terrified in that moment, even though her friend is there to, like, quote, unquote, "save her," it doesn't matter.
right,
Like, she is
right.
you think she's, like, this stupid girl who can't, like, get it together, and then you realize after the fact, like, oh no, like she is completely freaked out because how confusing is that, right? Like you wake up to your best friend, like basically capturing you. I don't know if she knows, like she has to know, or at least her mom is dead. The dad's dead already, but and then all of a sudden she comes back in the room and she's saying, I'm gonna save you. Like, where's your
Yeah.
telephone? Like, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like,
Be
that's
like, just fucking kill me at this
kind
point.
of creepy to think about. Yeah. Yeah.
You crazy
So,
bitch.
yeah. So she's no help. She doesn't even try really that hard to remove the gag. She kind of does a little bit, but she kind of just leaves her there. She's like, all right, I'm
But
gonna
there's
go
a
find a
reason why
home.
she didn't try to move it because they how would they explain if she removed it and started to, it just would mess up the movie in the end. So that's
Hmm.
why. But I love the scene when Marie leaves. Well, it's not the killer's going to chase
Hmm.
Tom. But I do love Alex's reaction when she hears the gunshot. She's like, "Oh my god, no, my brother she just killed my brother."
Yes.
I love her
Yeah.
reaction shot of that. I love it. It is depressing. I like my depressing horror,
Hmm.
and I do like that whole. That's why I love that sequence because it's we don't see him die, we hear it, and I think it's way more effective because we're focused on Alex after she hears the gunshot.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
it, love it, love it, love it,
Cool.
love it.
Okay. Yeah. That one. I agree with you. Her performance in that scene, Alex's performance, like the different tone in her face when after the gunshot, like the realization
Like
that
she
her
lost all
brother is
hope in
probably
that
dead.
moment,
Yeah.
100%. She lost her family, she lost her dog, and she lost all hope
And
of.
again,
She thinks she's a goner.
they kind of get right into it in the beginning of the movie, but you do get a sense that they are a very close knit family. Like her little
Yeah,
brother waited up all night for her, so
and
you
it
get
just so she
that
can see his
bond.
outfit. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it really kind of hits it even more. Like, oh shit, she just lost her brother, who they were really close.
Right.
Yeah. So this is
Yeah, good
when
stuff.
Marie goes back downstairs. She looks for the phone. She realizes the phone line's cut. Can't make a phone call, and the guy comes back into the house, and this is the picture scene where he kind of cuts the photo of Alex out of the family photo, and he like takes it out, and he's like admiring um Alex, and this is also when he stuffs her in the back of the truck, right? We kind of
Yep.
this is the end of the house sequence. They originally I saw some commentary. They originally were going to stay in the house the whole movie, but they wanted to open it up more, and I'm really glad they did because I love these next
Interesting.
sequences. Yeah, they wanted to keep it
I
in the
don't
house the
know
whole
what I
time.
would have preferred because I love the house stuff.
Yeah,
I
me
love it.
too. But they wanted it to focus more on like the nighttime in general, not just the house, like it being nighttime, they said.
Okay, this
So
is interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is interesting how they would have finished the movie if it was just in the house. But that was their original idea. So,
I like it.
um, yeah. So again, this is really the moment in the movie where like you really don't know what's real or not because you have Marie finding Alex in the back of the truck. You have the guy coming outside the truck, locks them in the back seat, but you know that's somewhat real because this is where she gives Alex the knife when they're in the back of the truck together. So
And that's what Alex uses, you know.
at the end of the movie. So you know at least some of that happened. You don't know like how it happened, obviously. You don't know how anything
Right.
happened really. And I
But
know
again,
that's like
first time watch, that's just still all straightforward. Like if you were watching, like this is
mhm,
just she got into the car with her friend, they killed her, trapped her in. Like
mhm.
you're not thinking about, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I love
This is
that shot
still
too where
just
she's ready to like stab
yeah.
him and then instead of appearing, he just shuts the door on him and locks it. That was great. Yeah. So we leave the house and this is we get the confirmation that Tom's dead. We get the shot of him lying in the cornfield. So I put in my
Again, so much
notes.
more. I think that's so much more effective that way. That
Mm,
they how they handled his death.
I think so, especially for a kid. It kind of hits, a little bit differently. I put in my notes, rest in peace, Tom, because that's when we confirm that he's dead.
Rest in peace, the whole poor family.
I know you invite this,
Awesome
your
death
best
still. I
friend's,
know they're so
your
like
daughter's best
hospitable, and
friend.
then they get murdered like
Yeah,
instantly.
they didn't stand a chance. All right, so now we get to the gas station. What do you think of this? We leave the house, we get to the gas station. Do you like this gas station sequence? I personally, it works for me. I like this a lot.
I do like it. I prefer the stuff at the house though. I do like
Okay.
it though.
I like it because, again, we're still in the second act. None of the tension has broken yet. Even on the way to the gas station, it's fucking intense. Like he's got the radio up and
No,
she's trying to
yes.
talk to Alex, and you don't know if he's going to hear them or not. You're like on the edge of your seat, figuring out if she's going to get caught. And that happens all throughout this sequence in the gas station. He's pumping the gas. She runs into the gas station. I don't think this guy is I think he does have a name, but I forget his name because I know the guy knows him when he
What the
comes in.
gas attendant, like
The
the
attendant.
clerk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know who that is in real life?
I no, I didn't.
He
I didn't really research. Yeah.
he's played by the director of P2, Frank
Oh, oh
Calfon.
my God, yes.
Frank
And you
Calfon.
haven't seen P2. You have
I've
to
never
watch.
seen P2, yeah.
No, no, no,
But I
no,
saw that and I thought of you because you like that movie. And that's the director of P2 is he has a little cameo.
no.
Uh
Aja directed P2.
oh, I
Did
thought
he?
no,
Yeah,
I
Aja
thought
directed P2.
are you sure? Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Did he
Wait a minute.
co-direct it?
No,
Maybe I have my notes wrong because
no.
I
Maybe no.
watched the
Aja was
commentary.
involved. Oh no, Aja wrote it. Sorry, Aja wrote it,
Aja
and
wrote
Frank.
it.
Yeah, he directed it. I got
Okay.
twisted. Sorry, because I love P2.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
love P2.
So these guys were best friends and they had him in the
That
movie.
makes sense.
So
That's
yeah,
why I
yeah,
flip flop them. Yeah,
yeah.
that's why I flip
Yeah,
flop.
okay, okay.
Dude, we'll do that next Christmas. But yes,
So he's the
awesome.
yeah, I've never seen that movie, but he's the gas attendant. I thought that was cool that
Oh,
he's
very
in the
cool.
movie.
Now I know. I'm like, why do I know this dude?
Yeah. And yeah, this sequence is pretty cool, I guess. She comes in first and then he comes in afterwards. She kind of tells him like call the police and then she's the classic, convenience store
Right.
where she's hiding behind the shelves and stuff. And then you get that scene where you can tell that the bad guy knows something's up by the way he's talking to the attendant. And then when he has
Right.
him get the liquor, like once he's getting the liquor, I knew like this guy's dead. Like there's no way
Oh,
he's
100%.
escaping this scene. And I love
He knew
this.
who was going in to murder him the whole
I
time.
love
Yeah,
this
he
axe
knew
kill. He grabs an axe. This was modeled on The Shining. It would,
the
Aja
twisting of the axe in it. Yeah.
He confirmed that, and he actually watched that sequence in The Shining quite a bit, to kind of model this kill off The Shining. So I love the little nod to The Shining. This movie has like a '70s vibe to it, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like with the
Because it
cornfields,
has
and
that has
yeah,
that grimy Texas
the
like
grimy,
like
yeah,
sleazy, nasty, the
hmm
nasty movies. You know that like you want to shower after you watch this movie. Yeah,
yeah. Especially like the design of the guy. He's so freaking
yeah.
dirty. Like his hands are all grimy and bloody and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, our attendant gets it. He turns around and gets an axe to the chest. I thought that was a pretty cool kill. I love the nod to The Shining. Pretty straightforward. Um, Nothing
That
too
was cool.
special about it.
Doesn't match
But
the dresser.
no,
Yeah.
definitely not. Especially in terms of gore. Yeah. But you do notice that he is being recorded. You see a recording of the kill, so that's obviously going to come into play later on.
Oh, yes, it does.
So, is it during this scene that she gets away and goes to the bathroom? I think it's while he's killing the guy. She
Yeah,
kind of
she hides in the
escapes.
bathroom because then she comes back to call, to try to
Mhm.
help for help, but she gets so frustrated with that.
So
But
this
yeah, so she
is
goes to hide. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really when the tension, I say, crescendos, because again, it's like this entire act has been one fucking buildup after the last, and you finally get a break from it after he checks the bathroom and he actually takes a piss in front of her
Ugh, I
and doesn't
hate it's
see
so
her.
nasty though. It's like, ugh, it's so
Yeah,
dirty.
and of course he doesn't wash his hands because he's the
I
fucking
know
dirtiest
it's
guy
so
ever. Yeah,
dirty.
and he leaves, and you even see it on Marie's face. She starts smiling because she's like relieved. She's like, oh my god, I got away from this guy. And he leaves the gas station with Alex, so
Right, because she's still in the
that
car. Yeah.
relief kind of turns into horror again because her friend is still trapped. But I love the fact that we've gone this far in the movie, and I guess this makes sense for you why you're so disappointed, but he has no idea that she exists so far. Like, he never, after all those intense close calls, he doesn't know that Marie is in the gas station or that she was in the truck. So at this point, you're kind of rooting for Marie to usually you're like, all right, just like call the cops and like don't go after him. But like when she goes after him, I'm kind of like, all right, like she has the advantage now because he doesn't
Right.
know that she exists. So it's kind of like a badass moment, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
It was.
Like, were you rooting for her at this point, or were you saying like,
Yes, I'm
no, get the
rooting at
fuck
her for
out?
the entire. No, I'm rooting for her to
Well,
be the
I mean,
badass that she is.
this would
Yeah.
be a never split up moment, right? Because she's safe. And normally we would say like fuck her friend, don't go after him, but I like the way it builds up because she kind of has the advantage. And you think that like she could probably take this guy. He's not like
Yeah,
superhuman or
she's a
anything.
fucking beast. She's
Yeah.
like fucking goes to the
Well,
gym and looks
yeah.
like two times a day. She's fucking jacked.
I fucking this is like always annoys me that the police phone call where she calls the police.
I can't stand this. Well,
And
first of all,
like
the dialogue because it's like, oh, the way
yeah.
it's cut.
And like
She
she
gets so
makes
mad that
no
she gets.
effort to like give these cops any sort of detail as to what's going on. She doesn't even bother to go outside and look at the name of the gas station. Like she's like
And then she just like throws a temper tantrum. She's like, "Oh, fine, I'll deal with myself."
I know. At that point when I was watching this for the first time, I was just like, "What? Like you've been so smart this whole time and now you're just like give the cops the attitude because they want details of what's going on." I know, it's so funny.
Because they want to do their job.
I laugh every time I hear that phone call, and then she's like, "What's it going to take for you guys to find this place for me to blow it up?" And then she hangs up on him. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Just like, oh.
Yeah, but she does grab the gun,
She does.
grabs the gun, and then grabs the keys to for I guess a Ford Mustang. I'm not a big car guy, but
Mhm.
it's like a Ford Mustang muscle
Sports
car,
car. Yeah.
sports car. Yeah, pretty lucky that she got like a nice car. She can catch up to this guy, but this leads into probably my favorite part of the movie. I love this part where she's catching up to the guy and the song Newborn by Muse plays. Every time I hear this song, I think of this movie, and every time I think of this movie, I hear that song playing in my head. The badass shots of her, in the muscle car chasing after him,
Right.
and then it cuts to him, and then it cuts to Alex, like still like
Right. Back
inconsolable,
and forth.
and
Right.
she's like, you're like rooting for her. You're like, all right, let's go, let's get our friend. I love this sequence. It's so cool. Well, you're laughing.
I
You
do
know what?
too. I do too. Just
Okay.
so funny, just how like, because we're so close to getting the carpet pulled out from underneath us.
Yeah.
It's so fucking badass. She's such a good final girl. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah,
he
it's
rams her, right?
disappointing.
It is, man.
It's disappointing that you feel that way. Really.
Can't help it.
It makes for a good podcast episode though. So but yeah, this is where She does. He turns down like a dirt, like a side road, and she doesn't follow him instantly. She kind of goes past, which was another smart thing, and then backs up and follows him. Turns her headlights off. But of course, he outsmarts her because he's pretty capable too, and he loses her on the dirt road, and then somehow appears behind her. It reminds me of Death Proof, how he just like appears
Yeah,
out of nowhere and
yeah.
then puts the lights on and starts ramming her. And another kind of this kind of bothered me too because at this point they're not on a dirt road. It's like a paved road. Like how the hell
Right.
does she not get away from this old fucking jalopy of a truck? She's literally in a fucking muscle car. I know it's back roads, but she's got to have the advantage in that. But he somehow like keeps ramming her. It's like go faster. Like what the fuck are you doing? You know. But obviously, we
Nothing's
know.
happening. It's not
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, yeah. Still cool though. But this is where he drops the bullets out the window, and then she
Yes.
realizes that the gun is empty. So I was wrong. He does know that something's up. He did know that she was in the convenience store because he went to the gun and took the bullets out. He's just playing with us now. So
He's
I thought that
taunting
was pretty sinister. Yeah. But yeah, he starts ramming her, and this is where she crashed. She flips the car, and we get the greenhouse sequence, which is another pretty cool set piece. Don't know why there's like a random rundown greenhouse. I guess it's a greenhouse, right? It's like
Yeah, some
plants, and
like a
it's like in the middle of a
rundown
forest
whatever.
though, which is kind of weird. There's no like, I feel like it doesn't get a lot of sunlight. Maybe it's like
Eh,
abandoned, like it's like overgrown. But
it doesn't bother me.
this is, I think, you're talking about like badass final girls. The
Yeah,
post with the barbed wire when she gets
I
the barbed
fucking
wire.
love it.
I love that shot where she like rips it off. It's fucking off the barbed wire. She's got it in her hands and she's like ready to fucking fuck some shit up. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
part. Yeah.
she's so badass in this moment. Like, I'm like, yes, I'm like fucking, I'm like, yes, girl, get this
See, I
fucker.
could still appreciate it even with the ending. I guess we're a little
No,
different.
I'd
I can
have to
still.
appreciate it until the ending comes. Yeah,
Why
that's what
don't
I
you
do
just
every
turn the
time.
movie off when it gets to that part and you just pretend
Because
it?
you know I'm a completist. I have to finish things.
Yeah. So yeah, she gets the barbed wire post, which is so cool. Just as cool as the circular saw at the end, I think.
Oh
Um,
yeah, might
if
be
not
cooler.
cooler. Yeah. And this is where the flashlight. She follows the flashlight, and it turns out that the flashlight, it was a trap. You see the flashlight is hanging by like a belt or whatever, and she comes up behind him, or he comes up behind her, and suffocates her with like a plastic sheet,
It's a bet. Yeah,
like a
yeah.
like a plastic bag. And this is a pretty cool. What did you think of this? I thought it was pretty interesting. He starts like caressing her, and then how does she get the upper hand again? She
No, doesn't he caress her with his little like knife thing? Like
yeah, with his
something after he
knife,
pulls a bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then oh, she grabs the rock. That's right.
She smacked. Yeah, yeah.
He's strangling her, and she grabs the rock, and she smashes him in the temple. And then this is fucking brutal, man. She fucking wails on this guy with the barbed wire post, like
It's my
fucking what, like
favorite.
6 or 7 times. Like
Yes, she
it's
fucking owns this motherfucker.
yeah, she owns him, but this always bothered me. Like, why does she check to see if he's breathing, and then she like checks, but she doesn't do a very good job because she thinks he's dead, and then he just like grabs her. So it's like obviously he wasn't dead. Why? What was the purpose of checking if you
Well,
weren't going to do a
because
good job anyway? You know what I mean? That always bothered me.
it's because she's grabbing that personality back. Oh, my
Oh, okay. Yeah,
fucking.
that's
So
funny.
you still need that killer personality, man.
Yeah. Well, he does like a temporary grab, and then she actually
Yeah,
kills him.
yeah.
She suffocates him. So boom, that's high tension, guys. That's the end of the movie. She escapes,
Well,
and the movie. Just
yeah,
kidding.
yes.
That's what you
Bravo.
think, at least. You're like, oh my god, she won. She's the winner. Wait a minute, there's still 20 minutes left. What could possibly happen?
Oh, a lot can happen.
What were you
A
gonna
lot
say
can happen.
just now?
No, I was gonna say no. That that would have been like a badass fucking final girl
Mhm.
ending. Save her friend, you know,
Yeah.
and they could have went off and been lovers.
Nope. Nope, because we cut back to the gas station and the cops catch up to the crime scene. Um, so we assume that that's obviously real. She actually did call the cops because they're like checking out gas stations in the area. And I believe they said like this one looks closed, but let's check it anyway. And thank God they do because they find the poor gas station attendant. And then this is where he checks the footage. And
Yeah.
this is
I
the
will
big
say, right, but
twist.
I love how before they show that, when Marie goes back to Alex in the truck, Alex is obviously she's still nervous. She looks scared of her. So we see that shot before we cut to the video.
Yes,
So like
quickly.
that's that yes, on
Yeah, but we
purpose.
don't get
But we do
anything
see
yet. Yeah,
no,
because
no, no, no,
yeah,
no. But
yeah,
we do see
because
Alex is not like relieved of her tension and fear when she goes to
yes,
the truck.
yeah. So then we get the big twist. We see the footage of the gas station attendant. He's grabbing the liquor, just like how it played out originally, but instead of the guy, it's Marie, and Marie has the axe and fucking kills him. And Marie's been the killer the whole time. I fucking love it. Anthony hates it, obviously, and
It doesn't work for me, man.
it works for me, man. It works. I don't know.
I can't.
This is also one of my favorite lines and line deliveries because as soon as we get that twist, it cuts back to the truck and it's Marie opening the truck and saying, "It's me, Alex, it's me," like with that cheerful like tone. And it has
It's
like a
fucking
double
you,
meaning,
bitch.
right? Because you just
Yeah,
found out that she's the killer. So by her saying it's me, Alex, it's me, like she's kind of telling the audience, like, it's me, I'm the killer, that's how I took it. I thought that was kind of clever
yeah.
how they like cut to that right away. And yeah, like you said, Alex is like, what the fuck is going on? And this is where we find out that she still has the knife from earlier, right?
Right. And she once she sets her free, obviously, Alex is like fucking taking that knife out and threatening her, like, "Get the fuck away from me, you crazy bitch."
Hmm. Yeah, she takes the knife out, and Marie's like, "What are you doing? Like, he's gone. You don't have to worry about anything." So Marie is still fully in her delusion. Like, we find out as
Oh
the
yeah, she's
audience, but
delusional.
she's still totally like she thinks
She
she's the
doesn't know
good
what
guy in
she
this.
yeah,
She doesn't know
right.
what's going on. Yeah, and Alex ends up swiping at her, and
Gets her in the face,
yeah, gets her in the face, and this is
stabs her too,
when
yeah.
This is when you get the flashbacks, right? I think this is when the flashbacks happen of her killing the family.
Yeah, like a quick I think a quick little, super quick.
Yeah, it's super quick. It's just like a little montage, and instead of the guy,
Right,
it's Marie doing the killings.
right,
So you get confirmation that it's obviously been her the whole time. We kind of get that
right.
already, but seeing that, I guess visually, I guess helps the audience. I didn't mind it. It was quick enough. Like it didn't feel like it was like I was being pandered to or I was being like talked down to. Like I appreciated
Yeah,
it. It wasn't like this big long sequence where they had to spell it out. It was quick enough for me. I liked it. But this is one of the few nitpicks I have with this movie going forward. Because and I know what the director, what Aja was going for, because every time you see Marie, it's Marie in her mind being the good guy, helping Alex. And every time you see the bad guy, it's her trying to kill and trying to kill Alex and being pissed off and, capturing her. But I wish that they stuck with Marie throughout this whole time.
okay.
I don't I wish they didn't go back and forth because she gets the circular saw, the powered circular saw from the
Right.
truck and starts well, does she do that yet? Well, she finds the car, right? Yeah, she gets
Well,
into the
Alex
car.
finds the car and
Alex
flags
gets
it
in the car.
down,
Yeah.
and then as she's climbing into the car, Marie gets the saw, fucking destroys the driver.
Oh yeah, this is like I think the most iconic scene, like with Alex just going crazy with the blood in the back seat. I mean, I feel like this
Yeah,
is
like
what most
like
people think about when they think about
yeah,
this movie.
Next Texas Chainsaw throwback to Sally freaking out in the
Oh, definitely,
pickup
yeah.
truck. Yeah.
And this is the one moment where the unrated really benefits because you get that long shot of his gut and his torso just
Yeah.
getting sliced up. You really don't get that in the rated R version. They show you like a quick little flash of it, but it's mostly just off screen. And the
Yeah.
unrated, they really show you like I know you ordered the unrated version. You'll get to see like the extended sequence of him getting
Yeah, I
sawed
haven't
up the
watched it
driver.
in years, the unrated version,
Yeah.
so it'll be cool.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, that's an iconic moment. I love that moment. This is probably my favorite kill just because it's so gory and so bloody. And I think the actress who plays Alex does a really good job
Yeah,
of
she does.
conveying just like complete. I think she did a pretty good job overall of being like a I guess like a scream queen of like we said earlier, like her facial expressions when Tom gets shot. I thought she was a pretty
Yeah, she was
capable,
good.
pretty good actress. Yeah. The dub, whoever did the dub, not so much, but the actress herself,
You
thought
can't
was pretty
ever
good.
make a dub be good with the
Yeah.
movements of the mouth.
Um, and I love this scene because we're it's not Marie again. It switches to the guy when he goes to the back seat and he starts like mocking her. I thought that was kind of funny. He like mocks her
Right.
scream. He's like, I was like, what the fuck? That's kind of fucked up. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. So she escapes the car and then he starts like taunting her. He like has the saw over her and stuff. And I wish this was Marie the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. It should have just been
Yeah.
her and focus. Let me know the twist at this point. Just commit.
Yeah. I know. I agree. I see what they were going for, but I still
Cool
wish
technique, yeah.
because like the image of like the poster of Marie with the circular saw, we really don't get
Right.
that in the movie. That's really just a promotional thing. We don't
Right.
get that image, and I wish we had more of those images in the actual movie because it's so badass looking.
Yeah.
Or even like to your point, like how you love her as a final girl, maybe get like a sequence where we still think she's the final girl with the saw. That would have been
With
cool
the yeah, that
too.
would have been cool.
Yeah.
That would have been
So
cool.
that's like my one little nitpick. They should have just stuck with Marie
Okay.
once we found out.
Okay.
But other
I
than
agree.
that, I kind of don't really have anything else with this movie that I don't like. Um, but yeah, that's the end. So she says the line again. I won't let anyone come between us anymore. Oh, she goes for a kiss. She kisses Alex, and that's where Alex has the crowbar and
Yeah.
sticks her
She's
through the shoulder. So that's
right.
where we kind of get Alex is our new final girl. She's been the final girl the whole time. We just didn't really know it. It wasn't really through our
Oh, was she
POV.
the final girl? Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean? Of course she
She
was.
could have. Yeah, she failed in this part.
Well, I mean, she really didn't even get a chance because she literally got woken up by knife point and was captured the entire time.
Yeah,
She really
yeah.
didn't even get a chance.
So she does stab her,
Yeah, she stabs her, and
and then
then
we cut to the psychiatric hospital.
the yeah we find out it's a psychiatric hospital, and
Right.
she I don't know why Alex is visiting her. Like, if I was Alex, I would want nothing to do with this person. She just killed my entire family, but they don't really explain it. It's
Maybe
just
they
kind of
had her there at the same point she was telling the events, just as to throw Alex to be a witness and give her side. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. And I didn't really get that, like why she would be watching her, but we uh we cut and that's
She
it, and
has
we find out
she
that
has that nice grin. She has that grin and like the she
oh
reaches out
yeah,
for
it's not really like
Alex.
a jump scare, but it's
Yes.
like a yeah, like
She's
one
like,
last
eh.
creepy image. Like she still thinks that Alex and
But
her could
she's
be
aware.
together.
She knows in that moment. She's like aware that she's behind it in that moment.
Mm, yeah,
She does that grin.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I would agree with you.
And that's high tension.
Yeah, that's high tension, guys. Uh, I love this movie. Anthony loves the movie up to a point, but if you haven't watched it, you kind of know the twist now. Um, Still watch it, I guess. I know some people
No,
like
it's
to
a
listen
well-made
to these
movie. Yeah,
podcasts
watch it.
because they don't
It's a well-made
want to
movie.
watch the movie. Maybe they get too scared or they don't like the gore and stuff. I get that, and we can definitely be your outlet because we do deep dives on these movies. So this can be like an alternate viewing experience, if you will,
All right.
instead of actually watching the movie. But I really implore you guys, if you can handle it, even if you watch the R rated, it's not as bad. I think it's still a solid movie, even though it's not unrated. The cinematography, the score is really cool. The performances of Cecil DeFrance. I mean, she's our
Yeah,
lead.
she's awesome.
She's our lead. She's awesome. The villain is pretty cool. He's got some cool moments, and then Alex at the end is cool. I think it's still worth your time to watch it if you haven't yet. But yeah, that's high tension, guys. Thanks for sticking around. We're now going to get right into our, I guess, our never split up moments. Do you want to
Oh yeah,
announce
shit.
who won
Forgot about
last?
that.
It wasn't last week, but
So for
two
Scream
episodes ago.
1996 episode, I won. I had the Casey Becker moment. She didn't run, through the field to the car.
Yes.
So I took that one.
Okay. Yeah, this is kind of a different kind of movie. We have an unreliable narrator. We don't know which events actually happened or what she's making up, but for
Right.
this sake, obviously we're gonna like pretend that all these events happened. Like we're gonna
Okay.
pretend that
Well, you're
this
gonna
is our
pretend, yeah.
we're gonna pretend that this is our first time viewing because that's when you have these never split up moments in your
Right.
mind because you don't know what's gonna happen and you're like yelling at the characters. So that's how I'm gonna
Right.
take it. I don't know about
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Mine's gonna be so basic and easy. I'm gonna choose that Alex didn't fucking stab Marie in the chest instead of like I would have fucking after you stab her, I would have fucking taken her head off like you did my dad. Fucking I would have fucking murdered the hell out of her. She
Yeah.
killed my whole family. She
Mhm.
just stabbed her in the upper chest and then was like, "Okay." And then Marie's like proclaiming, "I'll never let anything come between us. I'm gonna let something come between you. I'm gonna fucking crowbar your head off." So yeah, she doesn't kill her. She just stabs her once after everything she's gone through.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It bothers me every time. Now, yeah, I'm like, just kill that bitch. So yeah,
Okay.
Alex, she's not a final girl because she doesn't even fucking take it into her own hands in the end.
Okay. I will say that Aja has commented on that. I guess that you're not the first person to say that. And he did say that they did that because they wanted to highlight that it's really hard to go there as a human being. He said even after her whole family is dead, they wanted to show that like it was still
Oh,
tough for
come
her to
on.
stab somebody. And so they wanted that human element in it. Um that's not what that's what the director is saying. That's all I'm gonna say. Um I don't know if you think that's a
I
cop
don't
out
agree
or
with
what,
that.
but yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
She
Well, we wouldn't
murdered
get
my
that.
whole
We
family and
wouldn't.
I'm fighting for my life.
She's not a killer, man. She's clearly doesn't have much fight in her. I mean, she gets captured right away. So
She still stabs her though. Fucking slices her in the face and
yeah,
stabs her. She has some fight in her.
she
So
got
fucking
some.
finish the
Yeah,
job.
yeah,
Finish the job, girl.
yeah.
So that's my easy one. Yeah, that's like obvious to me.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the
Because now
other.
that I know the movie, I can't look at it like and pick another moment because I'm like, you know, was that a moment?
Well, yeah, and I'm not gonna go with Marie because I mean, even if we play this straightforward, I mean, it's
She
hard to go
really
with
was a
Marie.
badass. Yeah, she was a badass. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the mother. I think this is like the most obvious scene besides the one you just talked about. Um,
Right.
I don't really think of like the scene you talked about. I guess I don't really think of those as never split up moments. I know why they are for you, but I guess because she
Yeah, they're dog
survives at
moments.
the end anyway, it didn't really like hit me the same way. But that is a good one. But I'm gonna go with I think the most obvious for me is the mom when first of all she hears her husband being decapitated and just
Well,
like
she hears something happening.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty
Well, we
loud.
know, we
Yeah.
know he's being
And then
decapitated.
she
She's
goes
like, my
downstairs
husband's.
all nonchalant. She tells her son, "Oh, just go back in your room," and goes downstairs and just like stands there, doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything, and just lets Marie, who we find out is Marie, just kind of kill her. He doesn't finish the job right away, but she just gets taken, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like, talk about no
Yeah,
fight. I mean, geez.
yeah, she let that shock take over her
Oh
quick,
my
man.
god,
She was just like
completely.
done.
Like those are the moments in these slasher movies where I'm like fucking trying to like shake the character through the screen. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you're
Do
just
something.
standing there. Yeah. Yeah. So
That's how I
I'm gonna go
felt
with the
with
mom.
Alex. Fucking do it, girl. All right, cool. Those are two good
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. Awesome. So why don't we get into our scores? You won, so you
Yep.
get to pick who goes first on their score if you want to go first or me.
Um, I'll go first just so like I get
Okay.
my stuff out of
Get
the
it out of the
way.
way. Yeah, go ahead.
um, I mean, I've been
This
saying
is
it the
gonna
whole
be an
movie. I
interesting score for
really,
you.
really, really enjoy this movie. It's just unfortunately this twist really bothers me. It doesn't work for me. So it's a hard one to rate because I love the movie, to a certain point, but every time I finish the movie, I leave with that bad taste. Like it's not like it's reversed where the beginning didn't work for me, but the end did. That maybe would have made me feel like leaving on a high, but it's the opposite. So I'm like, oh.
Hmm.
And I really wish that Marie would have, because she's such a fucking awesome final girl, but she's not a final girl. I love Aja. Well-made movie. The gore is awesome. It's an extreme horror. Like I like my depressing horror. I'm gonna give this. It's so hard. I'll give it a 6.5.
6.5. Okay.
It's above average movie. It's just unfortunately they took a swing that didn't work for me, and
Okay.
doesn't. And to me, it feels like literally a swing just to have a swing in a movie. But other than that, it's a really well-made movie. It's above. I mean, I recommend it for horror fans. It's above
Hmm.
average. You
Yeah,
know.
no, that's a pretty fair score for someone who hates the ending. I mean, I wouldn't expect you to give it anything more than a 6.5. That
Yeah,
shows me that you really did like the rest of the movie because if I had
I
a
did.
movie that I hated the ending that badly too, like it would be hard for me to give it a decent score. So the fact that you still gave it a 6.5 really does kind of show me that you did appreciate the rest of the movie. So
Yeah,
that's
I
a good
did.
score, I think, for how much you hated the twist. Um, I feel completely different. That the twist really worked for me. I'm a Final Girl too. I like Final Girls too, but I love blending the two of the Final Girl being the villain because first and foremost, I mean, look behind me. I got villains galore all over my wall. I have the masks and everything. I love my villains. So this is such a unique movie that you get. I know this twist has been done before, like you said, but it's done so beautifully because this girl is a fucking badass final girl until she's not. So I get the best of both worlds in my character, if that makes sense. Like this girl can be on my list of final girls. She wouldn't be on a list of final girls because she's not technically. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that to you. Don't worry. But she could have been up until she's
She
not.
could have
And then
been.
she can be on my list of favorite villains. So it's like I get the best of both worlds and it works for me. So that's why I
But if
love
you
this
flip it,
movie.
she's a final girl until she's not. She's a final girl until she's a villain. So she's really only a villain to
She
us
is only
in
a
the
villain.
last five
Yeah,
minutes.
she is. I want to clarify. I don't look at her as a
No,
final
I
girl when I
know.
look at this, but she is until she's not. So you do for me, I do get the best of both worlds, which is why it works for me and I love it.
All right.
So yeah, I love this movie. I love how gory it is, and it's not. I hate the term gore porn. I don't think
No, I
it's
don't
gore
like that.
porn in the same
No.
way that like Hostel is. I think Hostel fits that category more. I think this movie is different from those movies because Aja treats the gore differently. He doesn't use the gore and he doesn't use the victims as like meat bags. He kind of like takes better care of the
Right.
victims and it's more impactful in a way. And yeah, I love my dark ending. The dark ending fits with this movie for me as well. This is up there, man. This is up there for my favorite slashers. I'm going to give this movie a 9.3. 9.3.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so pretty drastic. Yeah. We've had drastic scores before on the other side where you loved a movie, I didn't love a movie, but I think this
Right.
is our first time where I'm way above you. So
Yeah, definitely for
I
sure.
love this movie.
Cool.
I was really excited. I think I was pretty passionate about this movie throughout this episode. You could probably tell I'm a little bit heated compared to other episodes, especially because you didn't like the ending. And I hope I defended myself correctly. But we want to hear from you guys what you
Yeah,
thought
this
of
will
the
be a good one
ending.
to
If
hear
you
the
like the
audience.
ending,
Yeah.
um, do you want to maybe run that poll as well?
Yeah, we'll do two.
Whether or
We'll do
not
two
people
polls.
like the ending or not, like the twist, because I
Yeah.
really want to hear from people
We'll do that
on
for
that as
fun and
well.
just to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do our
Okay.
regular
Cool.
never split up moment poll, but we'll also run that poll. So look out for that, guys. That'll be on our Twitter and Instagram, and it'll also be on Spotify. I'll run the polls on Spotify. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Never Split Up Pod. Again, that's at Never Split Up Pod. We're also on Facebook, Never Split Up Podcast on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube. Again, shout out to all our new subscribers on YouTube. Thanks so much. We definitely want to see those subscribers coming in, and keep commenting, keep retweeting. Thank you for all the retweets and the likes and everything. Any other final thoughts, Anthony?
No, this is a very interesting movie to cover because I feel like a lot of people are gonna just be on one side or the other. So this is a good one to cover because we came at with both perspectives and good stuff, good conversation, and yeah, make sure you follow us. Subscribe if you can, share our stuff, and we'll be back to Scream next week, people.
We'll be back for Scream, guys. Happy Scream 6 week, and we'll definitely be covering more Aja films in the future. We can guarantee that.
Yes, I
So
love him. Yes.
this is only the beginning of our Aja journey. But for now, that's the Never Split Up podcast. I'm Nolan. That's Anthony, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks.
See ya.